Hello everyone, I'm Merlin Jean E. Labang, and my report is all about Chapter 10, Grading and Reporting System. Let me first define what is grading system and reporting system. A grading system is used to assess the educational performance of the student, which is entirely based upon points alone. Grading represents the teacher's evaluations of students' performance, while reporting system is how the result of those evaluations are communicated to students, parents, or others. And take note that good reporting is based on good evidence. In the end of this lesson, we are expected to demonstrate skills in interpreting test results and grades. We have seven subtopics, and these are first, K to 12 grading of learning outcomes. Second, the effect of grading on student. Third, building a grading and reporting system. Fourth, developing effective reporting system. Fifth, tools for comprehensive reporting system. Sixth, guidelines for better practice. And lastly, planning and implementing parent-teacher conference. 1 to 3 subtopics will be discussed by yours truly, while 4 to 7 will be discussed by Mr. Imperado. First, we have the K to 12 grading of learning outcomes. The K to 12 curriculum have specific assessment requirements and design catering to the delivery modes of learning. We have formal education system and alternative learning system or ALS. Formal education system is classroom based managed by trained formal school teachers and excuse me, strictly implemented time period. While ALS, also called as non-formal education, happens outside the classroom community based and the time schedule in ALS is based on student availability. The K to 12 assessment is learner centered and carefully considers its learning environment system. Learner centered assessment methods personalize the learning outcomes by permitting mistakes and allowing students to learn from them. Excuse me. The 21st century skills such as research, analytical or critical, practical, and creative are part of the indicators included in K 12 assessment. Both cognitive and non cognitive skills, which includes values, motivation, attitude, behavior, traits, and interpersonal relations, are part of the assessment. So, what is cognitive and non cognitive skills? Cognitive skills involve conscious intellectual effort, such as thinking, reasoning, or remembering, while non cognitive skills are related to motivation, integrity, and interpersonal interaction. They may also involve intellect, but more indirectly and less consciously than cognitive skills. The K 12 curriculum prescribes that the assessment process should utilize the wide variety of traditional and authentic assessment tools and techniques. Traditional assessment refers to the conventional methods of testing, which usually produces written documents such as quizzes or exams, standardized tests, and most state achievement tests in the high school graduation examination are also examples of traditional assessment. While authentic assessment call upon the examinee to demonstrate specific skills and competences. That is, to apply the skills and knowledge they have mastered. In K 12 curriculum assessment will be standards based to ensure that there is standardization in teaching and learning. Standards based assessment lets the students know against which criteria you will judge their work and the standards attached to each of these criteria. It tells students what performance is required and allows you to gain a sense of how your students are doing overall based on their achievement of the standards. So Department of Education or DepEd issued an order number 31 2012 stating that assessment will be done in four levels. This is the knowledge, process, understanding, and lastly products or performances. First, the knowledge. It refers to the essential content of the curriculum, the facts and information that the student acquires, and it uses traditional tools, for example, paper and pencil tests using multiple choice, true or false or matching type tests, and constructed response tests. Second, we have the process. It refers to cognitive acts that the student does on facts and information to come up with meanings and understanding. It is how students make an outline, organize, analyze, interpret, translate, convert, or express information in another form of format, draw analogies, construct graphs, flow charts, and mind maps of or graphing organizers or transform a textual presentation into diagram. Third, we have the understanding. It refers to lasting big ideas, principles, and generalization that are fundamental to the discipline which may be assessed using the facets of understanding. The capacity to explain, interpret, apply, shift perspective, emphasize, and self assess is an example of those. While lastly, the we have the what is this products or performances. It refers to real life application of understanding as shown by the student's performance of authentic tasks. So, authentic products or performance tasks that a student is expected to demonstrate his or her understanding is perform is under performance or perform task. So this is the assigned weight per level of assessment. Knowledge 15%, process or skills 25%, understanding 30%, and products or performances 30%, a total of 100%. Next, we have the level of proficiency at which the student performing shall be based on a numerical value which is arrived at after summing up the results of the student's performance on the various level of assessment. The numerical values as follows. We have first the beginning or B, 74% and below. The student at this level struggles with his or her understanding, prerequisite and fundamental knowledge, and or skills have not been acquired or developed adequately to aid understanding. Second, we have the developing or D, 75 to 79%. The student at this level possesses the minimum knowledge and skills and core understanding, but needs help throughout the performance of authentic tasks. Then, third, we have approaching proficiency or AP, 80 to 84%. The student at this level has developed the fundamental knowledge and skills and core understandings, and with little guidance from the teacher and or with some assistance from peers can transfer these understandings through authentic performance tasks. Fourth, we have the proficient or P, 85 to 89%. And the student at this level has developed the fundamental knowledge and skills and core understandings and confer them independently through authentic performance tasks. And lastly, advanced or A, 90% and above. So that's the student at this level exceeds the core requirement in terms of knowledge, skills, and understanding, and can transfer them automatically and flexibly through authentic performance tasks. Now let's proceed to the second subtopic in this chapter, the effects of grading on students. Over the years, studies have also been made on how grades and the comments of teachers written in students' papers might affect students' achievement. An early investigation by Page 1958 focused specifically on this issue. In the said study, 74 school teachers administered a test to the students in their classes and scored in the usual way. A numerical score was assigned to each student's paper, and on the basis of the scores obtained, a corresponding letter grade of A, B, C, D, or F was given. Next, teachers randomly divided the students' paper into three groups. The first group received only the numerical score and letter grade. The second group, aside from the score and grade, received standard comments. A. Excellent, keep it up. B. Good work, keep it up. C. Perhaps try to do this better. D. Let's bring this up. And F. Let's raise this grade. For the third group, teachers marked the score, letter grades, and then wrote on each paper a variety of individualized comments. Page asked teachers to write anything they wish on these papers, but to be sure their personal feelings and instructional practices. Papers were then returned to the students in a normal way. Page then evaluated the effects of the comments by considering student scores on the very next test or assessment given in the class. The results showed that students who receive the standard comments with their grade achieved significantly higher scores than those who receive only a score and grade. And who receive individualized comments did better. Conclude that this lead him to conclude that grades can have a beneficial effect on student learning when accompanied by specific or individualized comments from more recent the teacher. Studies conducted years confirm Page's conclusion. And excuse me. And for him, its relevance are first, it illustrated that while grades may not to be compulsory for teaching or learning, it can be used in positive ways to enhance students' achievement and performance. Second, it showed that positive effects can be gained with relatively little effort on the part of teachers. Stamps or stickers with standard comments, such as this, could be easily produced for teachers to use, yet the effect of this simple effort has significant positive effect on students' performance. Now let's proceed to the third subtopics in this chapter, building a grading and reporting system. We will discuss here about the basis of good reporting is good evidence, major purposes of grading and reporting method, such as letter grades, percentage grades, standards-based grading, and pass or fail grading. Let's start with the basis of good reporting is good evidence. Whatever is preferred and required of the teacher when it comes to format, excuse me, grading and reporting should provide high quality information to interested person by means of any schema they can understand and use. The basis of such high quality information is critical evidence on student learning, and evaluation experts stress that if one is going to make important decisions about students that have broad implications, such as decisions involved in grading, the more that good evidence must be ready at hand. Excuse me. In the absence of good evidence, even the most detailed in the high-tech grading and reporting system is useless. It simply cannot serve the basic communication functions for which it is intended. There are three qualities that contribute to the goodness of evidence that are gathered on student learning. These three qualities are validity, reliability, and the quantity. Validity is the appropriateness and adequacy of interpretations made from that information. For example, if an assessment is to be used to describe students' reading comprehension, evidence should actually reflect reading comprehension and not the other irrelevant factors. Second, we have the reliability. It is the consistency of assessment results. Example, the students attain very similar scores when the same assessment procedures are used with the same student at two different times, meaning the results have a high degree of reliability. Next, the quantity means that the more sources of evidence, the information can be reported. Because any single source of evidence of student learning can be if imperfect. It is essential that multiple sources of evidence in grading and reporting students is utilized. Now, Now let's proceed to major purposes of grading and reporting. There are 6 major purposes of grading and reporting stated in the book, and these are: first, to communicate the achievement status of students to parents and others. Second, to provide information that students can use for self-evaluation. Third, to select, identify, or group students for certain educational paths or programs. Fourth, to provide incentives for students to learn. Fifth, to evaluate the effectiveness of instructional programs. And sixth, to provide evidence of students' lack of effort or inappropriate responsibility. And we all know that the possible sources of grading and reporting system are major exams or composition. We have also class quizzes, reports or projects, students' portfolios, exhibits of student work, what else? Laboratory projects, students' notebook or journals, class observation, oral presentation, homework completion, homework quality, and also class participation, work habits and neatness effort, of course, the attendance, punctuality of assignments, and also class behavior or attitude, and etc. There are many. So now let's proceed to grading and reporting method. First, the letter grade. Despite the apparent simplicity, the treatment of letter grades is not always clear. what the teachers would like to communicate with particular letter grade and what parents interpret that grade to mean often are not the same. To give more clarity to the meaning of letter grade, most schools include a key or legend in the reporting from in which each letter grade is paired with an explanatory word or phrase. Descriptors must be carefully chosen to avoid additional complications and misunderstanding. In college, especially in state, the grading system is typically divided into five letter grades: A, B, C, D, and F. Each letter grade corresponds with a grade point average or GPA and a numerical range. You'll usually need to receive a letter grade between A and D to pass a class. Often, the numerical equivalent of D is 65% or higher. Second, the percentage grade or the ultimate multi-category grading method, and it can range from 0 to 100, usually based on percent correct on exams and or percent of points earned on assignments. Generally more popular among high school teachers than elementary teachers. And third, the standards based grading or SBG or mastery based grading. It is a kind of system that evaluates students' progress towards mastering specific learning targets called standards. A standards based grading scale is often composed of categories ranging from below the standard to mastering it. The purpose of standards based grading is to give a clearer picture of a student's learning progress instead of traditional points grade book where you see a single letter grade. An SBG report card gives a detailed view of student strengths and weaknesses. You'll know that traditional grading communicates on a high level, whereas standards based grading provides detailed and actionable insights. And fourth, the pass or fail grading system. It seeks to partially ease the burden of grades to student. Uh, can focus grades so students can focus on getting the most out of their college experience. Colleges and universities make students taking classes or fail as a way to take a break from the rigid letter grading system and explore new academic areas without having to worry about its affecting it's affecting their transcripts. There may be restrictions in which classes and how many students can take pass or fail each semester. For example, classes required for a student's major generally cannot be taken pass or fail. When a student takes a class pass or fail, they will receive a standard letter grade from their professor, which is then weighted according to the school's specific requirements. Some schools kasi will assign pass to any grade above D. Others may require as high as C. Others may feel more comfortable taking a course in a subject area where they may lack confidence or may choose to simply take a course for the enjoyment of it without working toward the goal of a specific grade. So that's all about my report. Thank you and bless us all.